I published my weekly post earlier today, Friday, March 22nd, 2024, that discusses most of my investments that I made since my last weekly post. The link is near the top of my YouTube channel page for anyone interested. As mentioned there and in previous posts and comments, my primary investment problem this year involves redirecting the proceeds from maturing Treasury bills, CDs, and short-term investment grade corporate bonds. I have those maturing almost every day each week. I did buy $20,000 in principal amount of corporate bonds and have started to buy more of those that mature in 2025. A main consideration in resolving the problem is when will the Fed start to cut the federal funds rate, the number of cuts, and the timing of the cuts. A lot depends on whether inflation resumes its downtrend, which is not predictable with certainty and is usually a matter of guesswork, as proven by the Fed's own inability to hit the nail on the head in the past. I have been following their predictions for more years than I care to count and have yet reached a comfort level about the Fed's ability to predict the future, notwithstanding their huge information gathering machine and a deluge of PhD economies on the Fed staff. I discussed that problem in a recent comment and will summarize an example here that specifically deals with the Fed's inflation forecast. I'm sure that we can still remember, even those that are advanced age, the problematic inflation that occurred in 2021 and 2022. Most voters do not have a clue what actually caused that problem and will simply blame whoever happens to be president. In December 2020, the Fed released its projection materials that predicted 2021 PCE and core PCE inflation at 1.8% in 2021, rising to 1.9% for both numbers in 2022. PCE stands for personal consumption inflation, which uses different weightings than CPI. The Fed focuses on PCE when determining monetary policy. The actual PCE and core PCE inflation numbers were 5.8% and 4.9% respectively. So the Fed was just way off in December 2020, predicting what the numbers would be in 2021. The actual 2022 PCE and PCE core inflation numbers were 5.3% and 4.6%. In other words, they were way off again. The CPI number was higher in those years due to its heavy weighting and owner's equivalent rent, a pretend expense that no one actually pays. It assumes that homeowners pay rent to live in their own home that they own, and that inflation number has been very hot since 2020. The bottom line is that future predictions can be way off, even for the Fed with all of its resources and economists. Of the 10 Fed members that stayed with a prediction of a 75 basis point cut in the federal funds rate by year end, I suspect they just did not want to reduce that prediction until they have more inflation data, since it would be too upsetting to investors and premature at this time. There could be a revision in June projection materials if inflation remains sticky. In the March economic predictions, the Fed did raise its core PCE inflation prediction for 2024 to 6.6% from 2.4%, while a majority of Fed members nonetheless kept their prediction that the federal funds rate will be 75 basis points lower by year end 2024.